Bonafide Hustler here, and today I'm actually going to talk to you about something that's not reselling oriented. So if you're looking for reselling content on this one video, it's definitely not going to have it. But I want to discuss with you guys the results of 2 years of self-experimentation on a couple things. I did do a write-up post in the Green Room Life Facebook page last week, and definitely garnered some interest. And so I want to bring it your way because I think it can definitely be of help to you guys and gals out there. And because it's the very first part of the year, essentially, it's definitely something that you probably want to look into, and you can incorporate it like right now. So anyways, it's good to see everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm running this in, first of all, I'm doing the video at my brother's house because my house is kind of a wreck right now, some work being done to it. But I'm not doing the headset thing. I'm just doing it straight out of the camera. So if it sounds good, then we can proceed with the learning. So I do have kind of like a little outline I want to go through. And it's basically really big bullet points on some things that I want to highlight for you guys. This show is probably only going to be about 30 minutes or, something like that. But I want to just show you guys, I decided 2 years ago to do a couple experiments, right? And they just worked out really, really well. But there were some findings and some drawbacks and some definite advantages to what I did. So anyways, it's good to see everyone here. I'll kind of start it out. Like I said, there's no reselling content in this video. So if you're looking for like top 10 eBay stuff or just other random things like FBA or Amazon stuff, it's not going to be in this video. This is a little bit more, to me, it's definitely more serious than money, right? Like, taking care of yourself is like way more important than any amount of money or any amount of sales on Amazon or any amount of processes on eBay. Look, if you're not healthy enough to do any of this stuff, what's the point, right? Like, what's the point of any of that? So let's talk about the very first experiment that maybe you guys or gals that are followers of my channel, especially for like the long haul, have probably heard about this thing that I did starting 2 years ago on January 1st. Okay, so January 1st, 2016, I decided to do a thing called RED. And I called it RED because it's an acronym. It stands for Ride Every Day. Okay, and that basically meant, if you guys have watched my channel, you guys know that I love bicycles, flipping bicycles. It's just been in my childhood, and like I just love everything about bicycles. They're a lot of fun. It's a great way to cover a lot of distance, make everything a lot more fun than just running around. Way less impact on your joints too. That said, I mean, you can make it way more impact if you want to, like I do with mountain biking and doing other random stupid things. But for the most part, it's a little bit less stressful on your knees, super enjoyable, and just a lot of fun, right? So I did this thing called RED, Ride Every Day. I started it January 1st of 2016. And my whole goal with RED was to see if I could ride every single day for an entire year. Like, that was my goal, all right? So fast forward to what happened at the end of the year. Like, at the end of the year, I had 364 actual days of riding down. Okay. Now, if you're wondering, like, what kind of riding are you talking about? Is it road biking? What kind of riding was it? It was any type of riding, right? As long as it was done on a bicycle, road biking, mountain biking, downhill mountain biking. It was things on the elliptigo, right? It's like still a bicycle, but you're more in an upright position. Dirt jumping, things like that. Playing around the cul-de-sac, doing stupid things with my neighbors with cruiser bikes. But for the most part, it was just all done on a bicycle. And if you noticed, I said 364 days I got because I did miss one day somewhere in September. I want to say it was like September 28th or something. And it really, really got to me to where the very next day I doubled up on my riding that day to make up for it. And it was just a day where I completely forgot to do it. There were so many things going on, and I had to go to someone's like house for some house party thing. And before I knew it, I came back from the house party at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I went straight to bed. And then when I woke up the following morning, I was like, dude, I totally forgot to ride yesterday. Of course, my wife kind of ha-ha'd me, and my brother was like, ha ha, you missed it, and it was kind of funny, but I definitely doubled up the very next day. So what did I find out from doing Ride Every Day? And the whole reason I did Ride Every Day was to A, challenge myself with something active, B, see where my walls were, okay? To see where I might put up my walls when it was in relation to cardio, and when it was, I figured at the very least, I was going to learn something really, really important about myself. And I really wanted to challenge to see, could I ride in crazy inclement weather, like full-blown rainstorms? Could I ride when it was like sub 30 degrees, freezing with ice on the ground? Could I do these things? And I figured out a lot of things through the RED program. And the findings were just nothing short of stellar. Like, of course, I had walls built up. Like anytime in the past, like in 2015, 2014, and any years in the past, if it was way too cold, I would just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit at home and like, not a big deal. I worked out today. It's not a big deal. When in reality, like all it came down to was like just layering, right? Layering, just like you know, if you were to go climb an amazing mountain or something like that, you're gonna want to layer, right? And as you get hotter inside, you peel layers off. And so some of those layers had to be, you know, down jackets or windproof garments, things like that. But I did it, right? I did it down to the gloves. I had like fleece gloves, windproof gloves. I had rainproof pants. I had fleece pants. I had balaclavas, whatever you call those things that cover your face. I had bonnets on, whatever. I had everything. Like, and I realized that my walls were so high that it didn't make any sense. Like my happiness was constrained because my walls were so high. They were so stupid, right? So anyways, I found that out a lot. There were some disadvantages to doing right every day, and it adjusted, and I adjusted that in 2017 with something I did every day as well. So going back to 2016, one of the most constraining parts of right every day was the fact that I did not, I didn't, some of the days I didn't want to ride, right? And it's not because I didn't want to exercise. I was just like, I just want to do something else. And I realized that that was definitely a constraint, but I was so far into the Ride Everyday program that that I was just like, I better complete it, right? And so that kind of sucked, right? And then there were many days where I did it solo as well, right? Just because I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't work the same hours as everybody. I don't do it 8 to 5, right? So if I'm riding my bike before 5, it's like my neighbors, whatever, even my brother sometimes could not join with me. So I did a lot of solo things, and that's fun. It's great when you have podcasts and things to listen to, but sometimes it can get kind of lonely. So that was kind of, you know, one of those things that I noticed was a finding. And it's getting super hot in here. Okay, so anyways, now, like I said, the advantages were I broke down internal walls like really, really quickly, and I like that a lot. So as I'm talking about these things, I want you guys to think about maybe your life and maybe some of the walls that you have built up, and what is the wall comprised of? Is it just your fears? Is it your insecurities? Is it your lack of maybe planning, right? Because for me to break down some of these walls, I had to plan ahead. I had to have a good raincoat, good windproof garments, good warm garments, all kinds of stuff. I had to kind of plan ahead, look for these things at garage sales and thrift stores. So anyways, one of the advantages that were clear with this program when I did it was that I was really, really happy versus the years in the past where I just kind of passed it by, or I did cardio in a gym. And that was one of the big ones. It's like, I hate doing cardio in a gym. And cardio should not be mistaken for a workout. There's strength training, which is lifting weights. And to me, there's cardio, which is the fun stuff. And that's all the stuff I really do not ever want to be doing in a gym. In fact, I think on one hand, I really was never inside doing any kind of cardio in 2016, like maybe 5 times, right? And I know in 2017, it might've been 4 times. So it allowed me to be outside more, which really allowed me to appreciate nature more, right? Connect with myself a whole lot more. And through that, I became happier for the most part. So anyways, I want to say hi to some people in the feed: Dev Motaz, Joe Molina. We have Philip Murray, G Jasso, AZ Mick, Justin Paquin, Clarence Ninjo. Yeah, so anyways, like I said, there's no reselling content in this. So if you're looking for reselling content, please, like, it's not a big deal. But I definitely want to talk about this because it's the beginning of the year. So it's really important. And I want to inspire you guys and gals out there to try something every day for a whole year. One of the obvious reasons why I wanted to do this also is to create like an incredible habit. And really, for me, to be able to achieve almost like an Ironman or a marathon in my sense by doing something every day, right? Many people that train for marathons or Ironmans, they train for a very, very long time. And while those two things don't actually interest me very much, what does interest me is the pursuit of happiness, right? And substance and things like that, things that really, really matter outside of money and things like that. You know, I chase things that are, they're not even tangible, like they're just felt inside and you feel good. So let's talk about now what I did this year. Okay, so I wrapped all of 2016, 364 days of writing every day. I missed one. Yeah, it sucks. Okay, but check this out. So on 2017, which is the year that we just wrapped up, I decided to do a different hybrid version of Write Every Day, right? So what I did is I did this thing called Active Every Day, AED, right? Now, AED is usually I think that's the thing associated to like the defibrillator thing that's on the wall. But anyways, I call it AED, active every day, which now gave me the, the power to not only ride, but I could do all these other things that really interested me. And like I said, I'm really big about working out in the gym. Okay, that's pretty much obvious. But the thing that the thing I'm really happy about, the thing I chase the most, and if you see it in my vlogs and stuff, whether it be on the Bonafide Hustler channel or my other channel called Bod Damn, which is on YouTube, you'll realize that I like being outside a lot, right? I like going on, mountain bike rides, hikes, surfing, snowboarding. Like those are the things that really matter in life to me, right? And I can honestly tell you that I've lived both edges of life. I've lived life indoors and like, chased like an incredible physique, but being mostly indoors, like, and then I've chased it being outdoors and still had a good physique. And I can honestly tell you that the second way is the better way. And I think a lot of people never get to experience the second way. And so for me to sit there and go, man, there's some people in this life that don't even know that exists or don't even try to chase that. Like, I just think that's a huge disservice for me in my position not to discuss it with you guys, right? Okay, so 2017, I did active every day, AED. And on January 1st, 2017, I was finally like, dude, I don't have to ride today. I can do anything I want today as long as it's, not strength. I can straight train 5 days a week. That's cool. But active every day meant I could do all sorts of stuff. Like yesterday, for example, and I'm continuing active every day in 2018 because I liked it so much. But yesterday, for example, I skateboarded around, practicing tricks in my cul-de-sac, had a lot of fun with that. Then I slacklined for like 30 minutes with my brother, and that was really fun as well. Talk about like something that you would think that would be easy. Slacklining is one of the hardest things ever. But anyways, I'm trying to learn how to slackline. So anyways, so yeah, in 2017, I did active every day. There were no constraints for the most part. And when I went on vacations and things like that, I was able to surf, snowboard, and if that stuff wasn't available, or mountain biking, I was able to do HIIT workouts and driveways and random places. Like I remember last year when I went to Nicaragua, which the vlog hasn't been edited, but when I went to Nicaragua, like the second I landed in Nicaragua, I had to do something sort of active. So I did like a 10-minute, maybe it was a 15-minute like HIIT interval training thing right there in the driveway. As soon as I met everyone in the house that we were staying at, I got like exited out, put my little workout shoes on. I did a little HIIT workout right there in the driveway because I wanted to continue it. Like I didn't want to miss a single day. So anyway, what happened from active every day? The inevitable thing happened. I sweated a lot more, right? I had a lot more fun. A lot more weight control. I've noticed this. Like I was able to control my weight a lot. And I'm not talking like I'm a big dude, like overweight or anything like that. But if I decided I wanted to lean up, for example, it's so much easier to lean up when I was doing active every day. It was a little bit harder to get bigger, right? But it was definitely like a really easy way for weight control. So I like that a lot. That was pretty neat. It was very hard. Like I said, it was hard to gain weight, but I still was able to. Like in 2017, I got up to about 208 pounds on purpose. And then I started shredding it up from January. I hit about 208, I want to say maybe mid-February. And that was from purposely gaining weight from about 194 pounds or so. I think that's where it was. So I purposely gained 14 pounds, right? Over the course of like 2 or 3 months, I want to say. And then I was doing active every day in 2017. In February, I decided to start my cut from 208, and I ended up like around May, was it already? And I was at May at like 192 at like 10% body fat, no problems whatsoever. Like no crazy dieting. I cleaned up the diet a little bit, but no real crazy dieting. I still got to indulge on things that I wanted to. And I really do feel that active every day helped a lot in that. But something else that I'm about to talk to you about helped a lot as well. So you'll see what that is. Okay, so active every day was really cool because I got to do it with more people, which was neat. So whether it was, playing Frisbee for an hour with 3 people, just throwing it in a triangle formation and running around like an idiot in the cul-de-sac, like that to me is active, right? Anytime that you're pivoting or making your body juke around and stuff like that, that's totally active every day. You're actually doing something that's increasing your flexibility, increasing your range of motion, keeping you in shape. That's good, right? And then some people might ask, well, if you did active every day, like what are some of these things that you were doing? Give us some examples so maybe we can start thinking about things like that too. Well, I was riding bikes a bunch. I was doing lake sports on the weekends a bunch, HIIT training, like high intensity interval training when there was really nothing around. I did rock climbing, indoor rock climbing, and a bunch of other stuff, skateboarding, whatever, surfing, whatever. So I did a lot of things and I was like, whoa, this is like way, way, way better. So anyways, I did that. And I liked it so much that I'm continuing to do it this year. Like I would love to re-challenge myself with something, but this one was really, really good. And so that's one of the reasons why here we are on January the 5th. And I'm like talking to you about this. I really wanted to film this on December the 31st, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I don't think anyone would have seen this video in the first place because everyone was so busy with the holidays. So I'm glad that now everyone's getting back in the swing of things and trying to improve their businesses and stuff like that. It's like the perfect time to really talk to you guys about it. So anyways, we got a bunch of people talking right here. Okay, so I like this comment right here from Clearance Ninja. This is probably one of the best comments I've seen in a long time. What is important to you is important to us, boss man. I like that. Don't being called a boss man, like, okay, like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to be like the top of the top. Like they're way more credible and sorry, I'm definitely credible, but there's way more knowledgeable people, right, than me out there. I'm just deciding to take control of my life. Like that's just what I do. Like I'm not sitting here like talking about something then not executing it, right? I'm talking to you about something that I totally executed for the past 2 years, and it's a lot of fun. Like I realized so much about myself by doing this, and I really think you guys can benefit from it. So if anything, at the end of this broadcast, I want you to start something. Like it could even be, you know, active every day if you want. I don't care if you rip it off. I don't care. Like in fact, I want you to, right? And if that means 20 jumping jacks day one, and you're going to add a single, you know, or if you're going to do 1 jumping jack, 1 push up, and maybe 1 burpee on day 1, and you're going to continue that, you know, maybe till the end of the year, I think that'd be pretty interesting. You know, on the last part of the year, being able to do maybe 365 push-ups during some part of the day, 365 maybe air squats, or 365 burpees. Think about how crazy in shape you would be, but breaking yourself in pretty slowly to do it is the key. So anyways, just something like that. You have to think kind of out of the realm. Like you have to start thinking like, what would challenge me? What would I kind of like to see myself turn into, right? Okay, so those are the things I did for active every day. I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to answer a couple questions. It's getting super hot in here. So, dude, the weather in Austin, Texas, like totally changed. It was like freezing. And by the way, I noticed something that was really interesting. Like 3 days ago, it was freezing in Austin, Texas. Like literally, like the day didn't exceed 32 degrees. And I was like, yeah, I'm still on active every day. And I looked at my wife, who was totally snuggled up on the couch, and it was like 4 o'clock. And it was like 30 degrees. And I know there was ice out there and everything, but I was like, hey, you want to come on a bike ride? And of course, what do you think the response was? I still think her walls are a little too high. And I always tease her about it, but it's only because I know what has happened to my wall. And I was like, dude, my walls don't exist anymore because I was making all kinds of weird excuses. But she's like, no, I'm cozy. Like, I really don't want to be out there. I was like, cool. So I had, I think, a shirt on, a sweatshirt, a down jacket, a raincoat, and then because it was like snowing, kind of sleeting, and I had a balaclava on, right? And I had, what else did I have? Oh, I zipped the raincoat all the way up to my mouth, so I kind of looked like a Ninja Turtle, or like a foot soldier, right? And then I had a beanie on, and then I had windproof pants, and I had Gore-Tex shoes. Like I went for like 25 to 30 minutes out there, and I literally, when I came back to the house, I was sweating my ass off inside all out, like completely sweating when it was like 30 degrees outside. And that made me feel really good. So anyways, so that was, yeah. So let's talk about the other thing that I want. Are there any questions real quick? Let me make 100% sure. Deb Motaz says, hey, thanks for sharing, Chris. You truly have a passion for exercise and health. I do. I totally do. And yeah, it's one, like I said, it's one thing to like talk about it, and it's another thing to execute it. And I've lived it, and I literally have lived it. I could sign half of my year off, half of my life. I'm 39 years old, right? Half of my life, if not more, over half my life, I've been active. Like I've been active ever since I was a little kid. And I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but like, you know how people have before and after shots? Like I don't have any before and after shots. Like I've always been in good shape, and you can call it good parenting or whatever, but I never saw the reason to let myself slip, because I realized how happy it was to be active, right? And so right now, I'm trying to optimize that happiness. I'm trying to figure out how much more happy I can get through doing the things that I love to do, right? But I can't show you any crazy, Bonafide hustler is a overweight looking dude pictures, because they don't exist. You'll see there's some out there where, I'm pretty big and I'm kind of pudgy, but I'm still big and you can still see muscles. And it's like, well, most people don't start out like that. And I realize that, but that's okay. I'm going to have to figure out another story that will help me down the line with my fitness channel and everything, because most people is like a transformation kind of thing. For me, that hasn't really happened, right? I did go from a skinny kid to like a muscular kid. So that was pretty cool. Okay, but I realize that's not usually the case out there. In America, usually the case is you're overweight and kind of like, I'd like to reclaim my life, and you don't know how to start. And it's very, how do I say it? It's like not knowing where to start in a world full of just gyms and fitness and Instagram modeling and like all this stuff. I get it, right? I get it why people are just like, I'll do it Monday, right? So if there's any way that I can assist you guys and gals out there in starting slower or building a really good habit, that's what I really, really want to do. I want to be remembered as a really good hustler. I want to be remembered as a good person that cared, but I also want to be remembered as a person that affected people, right, in a positive light. Okay, so let's talk about the other thing. Let me get a couple responses real quick. So here's one from Bobby Rock. This is interesting. My kid rode a bike 20 miles a day for 4 to 5 days, 14 years old. It was so cool. I lift weights and run and swim. Yeah, see, so this is definitely one of those things that once you learn it, you can impart the knowledge on your kids. That's probably what got me started. And now thinking about it, like maybe my dad back in the day decided that, I remember distinctly what happened, but like I made really good grades to get a Nintendo, right? And I was an outdoors kid and everything like that, but like all these kids were getting Nintendos, and I was like, Dad, I want a Nintendo. And finally he kind of gave in. He was like, look, get good grades, you get a Nintendo. So got good grades, got a Nintendo, and guess what happened? Like now he was like, dude, my kid's like inside playing all the time. It's all he cares about is Nintendo. He's not outside exercising on his bike anymore. I don't know if I was pale faced or if I gained weight or whatever back in the day, but this was like a long, long, long time ago, back in the 80s. So I know at some point my grades went back to normal. They yanked the Nintendo. I was back outside. And I think from that point forward, everything just kind of continued and snowballed from there. So, and then in my high school years, there's a funny story. I don't know if you can find it on my Boddamn channel, but there's a funny story where I started my strength training weightlifting career with one 15-pound dumbbell. All right. Like, I'm not even kidding. Okay. So my dad, I think it was sophomore year of high school, he's like, all right, I think all your growth spurts are out of the way. We're going to get you some weights. And I was like, cool. So we went to this place called Sportstown, which is by Memorial Mall in Houston back in the day. Not there anymore. And we got one 15-pound dumbbell. I was like, but I was really excited too, because I was like, dude, I'm ready for weights, And then I made enough money doing some random stuff, working at Blockbuster. I bought my own weight set after that, whatever. But I literally, for like the first 6 months of my weightlifting career, I had a 15-pound dumbbell. And I was talking about improvising a lot of stuff with a 15-pounder, which back then felt like a lot of weight, because I was a really skinny kid. So anyways, okay, so any more questions? Cool. All right, good. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Some really good comments over here. And let me tell you something real quick, because like I said, none of this is going to be reselling content oriented. If you're coming at this point of the show and you're like, where the hell is the eBay information, the FBA information, or, things about the green room, it's not going to be in this show. Although I did post this in the green room and the green room life page. We have a green room life Facebook page as well, which is cool. So, okay, no more stuff. All right. So the second thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, which I think is profound, and I think this is definitely, whether you do something every day or whatever, I want you to listen to this part, because I think this part is really, I've experimented with it for 2 years. Okay. I don't know where I saw the inspiration to even try it or whatever. I want to say it might have been YouTube. I want to say it might have been a Radu on Antonio video or something like that. But either way, a pretty well-spoken, I think an Egyptian guy, makes really good edits on certain things, but he talked about this thing called intermittent fasting. And so I decided, like, you know what, like, I'm going to try that. Like, leads to like more testosterone and like natural stuff. And it's just a way. And I thought about it, I was like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. It'd be kind of cool to like skip breakfast, not have to plan all that out and things like that. So I went in going, okay, you know, with faith going, all right, like maybe this is going to work. So I did it. And the essence behind intermittent fasting, there are kind of two concepts behind it. One of the concepts is absolutely the benefits from intermittent fasting, which are widespread. So I've written a couple of these down. Weight loss, right? Increased weight loss or faster, rapid weight loss, not rapid, but faster weight loss than normal. It's usually because of caloric deficits and caloric control, honestly. But it's also because your metabolism goes up. Okay, so there's that. Waste material from cells is removed much more efficiently if you do intermittent fasting, which is really cool. Insulin regulation, so for diabetic type people, like this is something that might be of interest to you. Human growth hormone, right, is a natural increase, sometimes as much as 5-fold for some people that have done intermittent fasting. I have noticed that it definitely leads to a lot more appetite control, which is interesting, right? Because here I am trying to gain some weight in a lean bulk, and it's hard to do it, but I'll tell you why. And it's also easier to hit a deficit of calories, because if you want to lose weight, I mean, there are only two things that really need to occur, okay? So if you want to lose weight, here's like without the active every day or whatever, you either have to be in a caloric deficit or you have to be working out enough or doing some, I don't know, like energy expenditure past your caloric intake, okay? So that's essentially the two things that have to occur. Either you have to eat less calories and just do the normal stuff that you do, or you eat the same amount of calories, but you do something else, okay? Maybe it's a standing desk every day, or it's walking on a treadmill or something like that. But either way, your same eating habits with, you know, something added to it typically can offset weight gain, all right, and put you in the opposite direction. But one of the easiest ways to really, how do I say, one of the easiest ways to control your weight is to honestly, A, look at the calories that you're eating, B, look at the composition of the calories that you're eating, and then C, like want to do it. Not have to do it, but want to do it. You know, some people, oh, I have to lose weight by this date for something, like that's dumb. Like if you want to lose weight, you're probably going to lose weight. If you have to lose weight, you'll probably do some crash diet or something stupid. You'll get to where you want to be temporarily, and then you'll rebound to an even worse state than when you originally started at. So it's definitely important to consider that anytime that I impart knowledge on you guys when it has to deal with fitness or weight control or things like that, like I'm always looking long-term sustainability, okay? Because that's what matters in the end, not some crash course thing, not some crazy 30-day like rapid weight loss challenge. Like that doesn't interest me whatsoever, right? What interests me is sustainability. Like when I, you know, train people and very few succeed, it's the people that succeed are usually the people that I've trained the longest, because they get the habit ingrained in them the most. But when people join for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, they train, and all of a sudden things get in the way, work gets in the way, family gets in the way, and they're like, yeah, you know, and then they start eating crazy, and then the weekend comes around, and they're like, yeah, I cut loose. You know, a lot of times when I would train some of the clients that weren't successful, I'd see them on Monday, and one of my first questions is like, how was your weekend? Did you have a cheat meal or two, or did you cheat the whole weekend? A lot of times the people that didn't do so well were like, yeah, well, I basically just went ballistic. I was like, well, you know, I always tell them, like, it's not going to work. Like these things that I'm doing for you are not going to work, okay? Unless you control what you're doing. And so anyways, let's talk about intermittent fasting again, okay? So 2 years ago, I started intermittent fasting for 3 hours a day, meaning I would wake up and I would wait 3 hours until my first meal. So that was, you know, for most people, and they're like, what the hell? You're talking to me about skipping my breakfast and being hungry and like hunger pangs and all that kind of stuff. Yes, but most people would think that would just persist over and over and over. And the truth is, for me, it only was there for like maybe 2 days, right? For some people, it might be a week, but it's not very long, right? It's not very long to start seeing what this IF can do for you, right? For me, I noticed that the IF had incredible benefits, like incredible benefits, to where I'm here 2 years later even experimenting again. Like 2 months ago, I took my 3-hour fast to a 5-hour fast, okay? And my eating window, meaning from meal number 1 to the last meal, my eating window is probably 8 hours. I think something like that, okay? And apparently if you can get your eating window down to like 6 or something like that, like it's even better, right? But for me, with my activity level and everything, like I took my 10-hour eating window down to 8, and maybe I'll experiment with 6, but I've noticed a couple things, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about those couple things real quick. So I started with 3 hours, okay, first of all, and I was able to hold this 90% of the time. So you take a look at 90% of the days. You might be wondering, well, those 10% of the time, like, what did you do? Did you just start splurging in the morning? Did you have breakfast like normal? The answer was yes. I didn't splurge in the morning, like hardly ever, but I had breakfast, and I had breakfast in certain places, like vacations. I had it because, you know, whether I was with my family or my wife's family, you don't want to be the person at breakfast that's like, yeah, I'm not going to eat. You just don't want to be that person. Like, that's not fair to anybody around you. You look goofy. Like, it just, you can have goals, but like if your goals rule your entire life, like all the way through, like you're no fun, right? So I didn't do it on vacations most of the time. Some of the times, you know, I did, but on most vacations I didn't. Um, I didn't do it when friends would visit me for the most part. Um, like if Steve or Eric came down, like I would cook up some eggs and some spinach and we would all eat it. So either way, I would go back to my normal ways, but I would still eat healthy breakfast, right? I said it was hard in the first couple of days, but after that, like it was so convenient. It was ridiculous. For being an entrepreneur, I was so amazed at waking up and just being able to like fly out the door. Like that is such an amazing feeling. Like most people don't get to do that. Like I get to do that nearly every single day now. And I like that a lot. I mean, not being, you know, sitting there like concocting some oatmeal, like some, you ever notice that even when you have to eat breakfast in the morning, like sometimes there's some mornings where you don't want to eat in the first place. Like you just don't feel like eating breakfast. And so I think a lot of people that are in the weight gain genre or muscle building genre think it's so important to have breakfast. Like I can't build any muscle. And I can honestly tell you, like from intermittent fasting, I've been able to like hold more muscle. I could build more muscle if I want to. And when it comes time to getting lean, I can get even more shredded and diced up. Like it's crazy. Like I couldn't believe it. So anyways, so let's talk about the past 2 months real quick on intermittent fasting. 90% of the time for the past 2 months, I've been able to do it. There's just been a couple times, like you take 60 days, okay, 90% of the time is 6 days off. So about 6 days off, it was the Thanksgiving holiday. My parents were in town. Like I'm not going to be that person at the breakfast table not eating. So there were a couple times where I did fast through, but that was not a big deal. Like the interesting part about it is my father has some health issues right now. He's 76 years old. And he's even fasting in the morning now. So that's pretty interesting. And he's a pretty in shape guy, but I think some bad dietary decisions he made back in the day are affecting him now, right? And it's probably a lot of things that you guys are out there doing too. So, you know, if I can just say, most people think they're going to live to 80 or 90. You might not. Like my dad has had a really amazing diet for the past, I would say 2 decades, like really good plant-based diet. And sometimes you cannot undo some of the destruction that you're doing probably to your body right now. Okay. Like it might be too late. But anyways, if that doesn't freak you out, like I don't know what will. So yeah, I would say if you really want to start taking control of your life, like you got to start making active steps to do it. Okay. There's none of this like I'll start Monday. There's none of this like let me just eat the last couple things in the fridge, then we'll start switching the diet around. No, it's really time to like take control. Okay, so for the past 2 months, I did a 5-hour fast from a 3-hour fast. It was really not hard to do whatsoever. In fact, it was super easy. After workout, I would usually like pound down some banana, protein shake, whatever. And now I don't do that. I go to the coffee shop. I'll do more work for like 3 hours, and yeah, I'll get in my car. And sometimes when I'm in my car, I'm not even hungry. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. But I still eat now. I do have a gigantic first meal. My breakfast is pretty big. It might be in the 800 to 1,000 calorie range. It's pretty big. And that's just because, for some reason, like I have my banana and my protein shake, and then an hour after that, I'm like really hungry. So then I'll have a really big meal. But if you take those two things together, you know, 1,000 calorie meal, and you take the banana and the protein shake, which might be like 200 calories. All right, so we're looking at 1,200 calories, and I still have maybe 6 hours to go in the day of my eating window. And I gotta, for my activity level to be in a surplus to where I can build more muscle and everything, I have to be at like 24, 26, maybe even 3,000 calories. You start putting the puzzle pieces together, and you go, man, he still needs to eat, 1,800 calories for him to be on par with his muscle gain. So it becomes a little harder to gain weight, which is interesting though, because if you are trying to lose weight, intermittent fasting is absolutely very beneficial to getting there. Like, I absolutely will swear by it at this point. I can control my weight like even better than I can with like active every day or whatever, like because of intermittent fasting. When it comes down time to shredding my body up and getting really, really vascular and diced up, I'm going to be able to do it really quickly, like super fast. And that's just only because of, I don't get that hungry like sometimes, but my strength is like out the roof, like everything's performing well. I'll probably go get some blood tests done next week for my annual physical, whatever. But my blood tests for the past whatever years have been clear and good, and I get to see all the metrics and markers, so they're all good. What do we got here? Any more else talking about this kind of stuff? Michael Archuleta says, hey, cool, do you find the benefits that you mentioned not on the non-fasting days as well? Yeah, I mean, if you intermittent fast for one day, but you don't do it the next, or if you do it for a vast majority of the time, 90% of the time, but you don't do it for 10% of the time, those 10% of the times, like, your body doesn't sit there and relapse and go crazy. It doesn't, like, it just doesn't. So you've built such an incredible habit, and your body's kind of like used to it, to where it's like looking forward to the next time that you do it again. So, okay, I'm going to talk about something real quick. Okay, so here's what I want to kind of leave you guys with, because I think you can kind of see, well, I don't know. Like, I always wanted my Bonafide Hustler channel to be like nothing but reselling, nothing but, my name is Bonafide Hustler. Like, a hustler is the end of the name. And it was always like an eBay channel, Amazon channel, interview people, thrift battles, and like all this really amazing stuff that I really still care about a whole lot. But through meeting up with all you guys for the past 4 or 5 years, right? We had our first green room meetup, what, 5 years ago. So we're going to be on our, I think, our 6th installment or something like that, maybe our 5th installment. So this will be the 5th year of the green room meetup. Okay, so I've met a lot of people. There have been a lot of people in the hot seat in my spaceship. I've had many satellite meetups that never got filmed. And I've met countless amount of people at coffee shops around the country just because of who I am on YouTube, right? I'm no one special, first of all, but I do make videos, so people kind of know who I am, right? Especially if you're in the hustling field, like, you kind of, there's a really good chance you probably know about me. But that's only because I made videos. Like, outside of that, like, no one would know who I was. So I got to meet a lot of people. Okay, so the gist is, in meeting all these people, I realized that half the time, if not more than half the time, a lot of them did not want to talk about reselling. They wanted to talk about like health and like all this cool stuff, and like, because I felt as if they got their reselling business down to a comfortable level, but they never had their health in check. And if you were to visually look at them, a vast majority of the people I've met up with, they probably look out of shape, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But there is everything wrong with it if you are someone that is out of shape and you want to change, but you don't know how, or you haven't started. It's like, why should you get to experience all the amazing things with eBay and making yourself some money, Amazon FBA, making yourself money, your first private label product, starting a YouTube channel, and it goes well. But then when you start something fitness oriented, you get lost, or you're not motivated enough to continue with it, and you can't tackle this thing, which leads me to one of my points, and that is fitness and having a good functional, okay, not a good looking, but a good functional and looking body is literally like the one thing that you cannot buy. You can't buy it. You cannot be rich and the next day be jacked and ripped and perfect shape. Like, you have to work at it. There's no secret machine that'll get you there. There are no secret anything. There are no shortcuts. Well, there are some shortcuts, black market shortcuts, but if you're dumb enough to take that, then have fun with that one, right? But for the most part, that's probably what I love about fitness the most. It is one of the most rare things to see someone on top of their fitness game, and have almost everyone that's on top of their fitness game typically has all their other stuff in a row, lined up, perfectly executed. Like, it builds incredible habits, right? But anyways, when I was meeting up with all these people out there, I realized most really want to change. Like a lot of them want to change. Like, where's my Bonafide hookup? Where's my goddamn hookup? Like, when are you going to make products? Like all this kind of stuff. And I've been helping people out behind the scenes here and there, right? I helped Rakin before he got a personal trainer. I have been there for College Picker, right? He's on a workout plan, a 3-day workout plan right now. I just talked to someone the other day that's in the green room that I'm talking to privately and trying to get him all set up and everything like that. So people really want to do this inside, but I think a lot of people are lost, right? And that's okay, because it can be kind of confusing. But the most, I got to tell you one thing, that if you don't start anything, you're going to live in fear the entire time. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been afraid of private label or building a brand. I'm still afraid, like, but I just keep going forward. I keep going forward, and I squash those fears, and new fears come up, and it's never going to be over. Like, I'm never going to be some freaking super multimillionaire private label dude. Like, it's not going to happen without a crazy amount of failures. So, and the same thing goes with healthy habits and things like that. You're going to have to experiment, and you're going to have to go forward and try some things. But anyways, it's the healthiest of all the habits, right? Of all the habits, like saving money, great. If you're not healthy enough to spend your money, who cares? Now, if you're saving up a bunch of money to, make sure that your wife lives long, has a great life, and your kids go to college and all that kind of stuff, but you get to suffer, I don't know if I quite agree with that one either. Everyone should be able to coexist, and money shouldn't be the root of everything. Like health, happiness, and the chasing of experiences should really be the ultimate fundamentals in life. Now, another thing that's really interesting about if you start, and the people that have started, right, or that we have affected in a positive light through the green room life, or meeting them in person, is that they feel better. Their mobility and flexibility are back. I wouldn't say back to normal, but it's on their way to coming back to where they are happy with it, right? Their bodies are starting to change, but most important, a lot of resellers kind of just want mobility and flexibility back. The ability to like bend over and pick something up and not like go, oh, my knees, or oh, my back, things like that. And I think those are important things. Those are things that most human beings should be able to do. But a lot of people don't get those, they don't get to do those kind of things, right? Because they're out of shape. So anything with, when you do mobility, when you focus on mobility and flexibility, a lot of doors will open in life as well. So the ability to go hiking on a really interesting trail or something like that opens up, right? Kicking an amazing, having an amazing picnic and being able to sustain energy with your children in a field, kicking soccer balls around, not getting winded, like that's important. As a father and a child looking up to a father, you should be able to kind of do those things. But the most important thing is being able to start seeing some of these things that are going wrong and being able to go, you know what, I need to reclaim my life. And so that's the ultimate thing that I want to discuss with you guys. And these two things we talked about, doing something every day, like something physical and active every day, or write every day, whatever you want to do, that's active. But you want to do something active every day. If you've never touched a weight in your life, then maybe weightlifting every day of your life might be something that you want to try. You get a home gym or Pilates every day or yoga every day, it doesn't matter. What matters is starting, right? That's the most important thing. And I hope that after this video, maybe we have 48 viewers in the house, maybe we have 20 people tomorrow that start something every single day. And that's amazing. Like if I can find 30 days from now, someone checking in going, dude, I took your advice and I started doing something every day. What do you think about it? If I even get 1 or 2 of those emails or messages in my Bonafide Hustler Facebook, I would feel so good. So anyways, that's pretty much that. We talked about something doing every day, and we talked about intermittent fasting. Take what you want from those 2 things. But I have definitely done self-experimentation for the past 2 years on those things. And I got to tell you, I have found nothing but stellar results from both. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. As I get older, like I got to keep going, and that's really, really important. So my parents were always telling me, have your kids now and everything like that. You're not going to be the same later. And while I somewhat agree with that, I also really disagree with that, because you're in control of your entire life. You're in control of your mobility, your flexibility, everything. And who's to say that I won't be able to be mobile or flexible, within my control 10 years, 20 years. Yeah, sure, bad things can happen to all of us. We can all get hurt or disabled or whatever. But for the most part, if you're in control of certain things, you should be trying to live a life, okay? And you should be trying to get out there and trying to control it as much as you can to swing it in your direction, in your favor. Because life is out for the getting. If you're just taking what life gives you, it's not that great, But if you're going to go out there and get it, now you're a hustler. Now you're having fun, and now you're living. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I ranted and rambled for a bunch, but I got through my outline. That was really important. And I'm glad I got to talk to you guys about it. So if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Share with one of your friends or something like that. Maybe someone's, having weight loss issues or struggles or something, and they want to do they want to start something new or start a habit. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to do an hour with a personal trainer every single day or a whole year to like see results. And like, look, if you just do small things and you start, at your own pace and you start crushing day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, you start going, damn, I can do this. And that's the most important thing. And then, yeah, if you want to try intermittent fasting, go with it. Do some research on Google and see if it's for you. But I'm going to tell you right now, I know a fair amount of people that are doing it and they love it. They love it. Plenty of people in the green room do it too, and they love it. So yeah, go check it out. See if it's for you. And I hope I was of a positive influence in this video to maybe makes you spark or start something. That's all I care about. That's really what I care about. After that, go worry about the love and the money and everything. But you got to be healthy enough to experience love, experience money, experience all this cool stuff. You got to be healthy first, okay? Because that's what keeps you moving around. That's what keeps you alive, is the healthy part. All right, guys, take it easy. I'll see you next time. Bye.